Oh, Tashidile, I am Tenzin Celon, and I am the lecturer of Dalai Lama Institute for Higher Education in Bangalore, and today I am going to speak about the Buddhist epistemology. Buddhist epistemology is the foundation of all the Buddhist studies. It is more related with Buddhist science. So one could say that Buddhist epistemology is the part of Buddhist science. When I speak about the Buddhist science, Buddhist science, Buddhist philosophy, and then Buddhist religions, these three domains are created by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama under his great visions. He always emphasizes that those people who are outside of Buddhist faiths, they can learn, they can study the Buddhist science and Buddhist philosophy. So Buddhist science and Buddhist philosophy is universal, it's accessible for entire human being. It is nothing to do that you have to be a Buddhism. As far as Buddhist religious is concerned, that this is connecting to those people who are following to the Buddhist practices and who are following to the Buddhist faith. So here I am going to give a brief introductions about the Duda. Duda means collected topics in English language. Du means collection, and Ta means separate annotations. So Duda is the textbook which is summarized all subjects of Buddhist logics and epistemologies, which is written by the great Indian Nalanda master such as Dignaga and Dharmakirti. Duda is composed by the Tibetan great logician. His name is Chawa Chögyal Sengye. He has written these textbooks in the 12th century. He has aimed for those people who are the beginner in the training of Buddhist logic and epistemology. He has written many textbooks. Among them, two textbooks became most popular, and they are Tsemayigimuse, Epistemology, Eliminating the Darkness of Mind, Tsemaduba, Condensed Epistemology. If you look back the Indian history, then you can see that the great Indian master Dignaga, who was the founder of Buddhist epistemology, so he was the disciple of Arya Asanga, and he has written the textbook regarding the Buddhist epistemologies. The name of textbook is Pramana Samukakaya. The later that there was another great Indian Buddhist thinker. His name is Dharmakirti, and he has written nice commentaries of Pramana Samukakaya, and the name of textbook is Pramana Vartika Karika. In Tibetan we call it Samanamdes. So Duda, the textbook Duda, has inspired other introductory textbooks such as Lorik, the Science of Mind, and the Tarik, the Science of Logical Reasoning. So these three textbooks became very popular, and so far it is well preserved in Tibetan monastic institutions, and it is not declined yet. And if you go to the Tibetan monastic institution, you can see that monks and students are continuously studying these three textbooks. So up to now it is well preserved. Themadubha, if you look at the Themadubha condensed epistemologies, it has pointed out the 18 separate topics of epistemologies. So later on, Tibetan Buddhist logicians, they have introduced the system of collecting the topics of epistemologies. Many Tibetan Buddhist logicians, they have given the new and different methods of enumerating, such as 21, 25 and 27s, So all these Buddhist subjects of epistemologies, they are presented within the threefold frameworks. The first is the Shenlongkapa, refutations of the positions of others. If you look at the Duda textbooks, then you can see that it has cited the view of others that are the flawed and refutes them. And second, it has puts one's own standpoint. Then it has written about the critical objections which is raised by others. It has claimed these kind of objections are the false. So these when you engaging in the critical analysis, these threefold method of refuting, persisting and rebuttal will enable us to develop a comprehensive understanding of the issues involved. So therefore one could say that the logical reasoning of collected topics is an extremely useful when you are engaging in critical inquiry. So when you are engaging in practicing debate, there are two persons. The first is the challenger, and second is the defender. So challenger will ask the question respectfully, and defender will give the answers. When we engaging in the debates, there are three main components of engaging in debates. The first is the subject of dispute, and the second is the predicate, and third is the logical reasons. And the subject of the dispute, in Tibetan we say Tsushi and Chuje. The predicate we say Selva, and the logical reason we say Ta. Okay, so I give you an example. Sound Dachuje, it is not produced Machepa Yimbathal, and because it is permanent, Tapa Yimbichirs. So this is one thesis, this is one formulation, and in this case, sound is the subject of dispute, and being not produced is the predicate, and being permanent is the reason here. So when you give the answers, there are the four major responses to the statements. The first is a do. Do means I agree. If you agree that subject is the predicate, then you have to answer I agree, yes. Second is the chicha. Chicha means why or no. Okay, why or no. And third is the Tagmadu. Tagmadu, the reason is not established. The reasons that you have stated is not established. So you can say unestablished. Then fourth is Kyapamaju. Kyapamaju, there is no logical provisions. That means there is no actual entailment between the reasons and the predicates. So these two, the first two responses is corresponding to the predicate of the statements, and third and fourth responses, it is corresponding to the reasons of the statements. So I give you another example. I have shared a table here. Here, subject and predicate, reasons and answer. So if somebody asks you a question, the Tashi, is it Tibetan? In this thesis, Tashi is the subject, is it Tibetan is the predicate. If you accept that subject Tashi is Tibetan, then you have to answer, I agree, yes, I agree. Okay. Then if somebody asks you a questions like a Tashi, is it Tibetan, is it Indian, is it Indian? Then if you don't agree that subject Tashi is an Indian, then you have to say, no, I don't. Why? Why means, why is Tashi Indian? Why is Tashi Indians? If somebody asks you a question like that, Tashi, he is Indian because his both parents are Indian. In this case, it has all the components. If the subject Tashi, is not established in the agreement of the reasons which is stated here as his both parents are Indian. If you don't accept it, then you have to say your reason is not established. If you think that the subject Tashi is not established in the agreement with the reason stated as his both parents are Indian, then you have to answer unestablished. If somebody asks you a question like Tashi, he is Indian because he enjoys Indian dishes. Here in this case, you are agreeing that you are accepting that subject Tashi, he is enjoying Indian dishes, but that doesn't mean that he or she is enjoying Indian dishes does not mean that he or she has to be Indian. So if I say like Tashi, he is Indian because he speaks Indian language. So if somebody speaks Indian language, does not mean that he or she has to be an Indian. So you are accepting that subject Tashi is the reason that he enjoys Indian dishes, but there is no actual entailment between the reasons and the predicates, because he or she enjoys Indian dishes does not mean that he or she has to be an Indian. So in this case, you have to answer inconclusives. So that's all. So I will continue my teaching, and if you have any question, then you can ask me. You can send me an email. I will share you my email here. So this is my email and this is my WhatsApp number. If you have any questions, then you can ask me directly. And if you are watching my YouTube, if you like my teaching, then you can share as much as you can to those people who are truly interested to learn something about the Buddhist epistemologies. Thank you.